Once upon a time, a girl named Cinderella lived with her stepmother and two stepsisters. Cinderella had to work hard while the others slept well into the day. It was Cinderella who had to wake up each morning when it was still dark and cold to start the fire. It was Cinderella who cooked the meals. It was Cinderella who kept the fire going. The poor girl could not stay clean from all the ashes and cinders by the fire. "What a mess you are," her two stepsisters laughed. And that is why they called her Cinderella. One day, big news came to town. It was time for the prince to find a bride. The king and queen were going to have a ball. All of the young ladies in the land were invited to come to the ball. They were wild with joy. They would wear their most beautiful gown and fix their hair extra nice. Maybe the prince would like them. At Cinderella's house, she now had extra work to do. She had to sew two brand new gowns for her stepsisters. "Faster," shouted one stepsister. "You call that a dress?" screamed the other. "Oh dear," said Cinderella. "When can I?" The stepmother marched into the room. "When can you it?" "Well," said the girl, "when will I have time to make my own dress for the ball?" "You?" yelled the stepmother. "Who said you were going to the ball?" "What a laugh," said one stepsister. "A mess like that?" They pointed at Cinderella. All of them laughed. Cinderella said to herself, "Maybe they see a mess when they look at me. But I am not a mess. And if I could, I would go to the ball." Soon the time came for the stepmother and stepsisters to leave for the big party. A fine carriage came to the door. The stepmother and stepsisters hopped inside. And they were off. "Goodbye," called Cinderella. "Have a good time." But her stepmother and stepsisters did not turn around. "Ah," said Cinderella sadly. The carriage rode down the street. She said aloud, "I wish I could go to the ball too." Then poof, all of a sudden, in front of her was a fairy. "You called?" said the fairy. "Did I?" said Cinderella. "Who are you?" "Why, your fairy godmother, of course." "I know your wish, and I have come to grant it." "But," said Cinderella, "my wish is impossible." "Excuse me," said the fairy godmother in a huff. "Did I not just show up out of thin air?" "Yes," said Cinderella. "Then let me be the one to say what is possible or not." "Well, I think you know I want to go to the ball too." She looked down at her dirty clothes. "But look at me." "You do look a bit of a mess, child," said the fairy godmother. "Even if I had something nice to wear," said the girl, "I would have no way to get there." "Dear me, all of that is possible," said the fairy. With that, she tapped her wand on Cinderella's head. At once, Cinderella was all clean. She was dressed in a beautiful blue gown. Her hair was set up high on her head inside a golden band. "This is amazing," said Cinderella. "Who said I was done?" said the fairy godmother. She tapped her wand again. At once, a beautiful carriage came to be, with a driver and 4 white horses. "Am I dreaming?" said Cinderella, looking around her. "It is as real can be," said the fairy godmother. "But there is one thing you must know." "What is that?" "Aleph, this lasts only to midnight. Tonight, at the stroke of midnight, it will all be over. Everything will go back to how it was before. Then I must be sure to leave the ball before midnight," said Cinderella. "Good idea," said the fairy godmother. She stepped back. My work is done. With that, the fairy godmother was gone. Cinderella looked around. Did that even happen? But there she stood in a fine gown, and with a golden band in her hair. And there were her driver and 4 horses, waiting for her. "Coming?" called the driver. She stepped into the carriage, and they were off. At the ball, the prince was despondent. "Why do you have that sad look on your face?" The queen said to her son, "Look around you. You could not ask for finer maidens than these." "I know, mother," said the prince. Yet something was wrong. He had met many of these young women. Yet after he said hello to each one, he could find nothing more to say. "Look," someone pointed to the front door. "Who is that?" All heads turned. Who was that lovely maiden stepping down the stairs? She held her head tall and looked as if she belonged. But no one knew her. "There is something about the young lady," said the prince to himself. "I will ask her to dance." And he walked over to Cinderella. "Have we met?" said the prince. "I am pleased to meet you now," said Cinderella with a bow. "Yet I feel as if I know you," said the prince. "Of course, that is impossible." "Many things are possible," said Cinderella, "if you wish them to be true." "Do you really believe that?" said the prince. "I know it," said Cinderella. The prince felt a leap in his heart. He and Cinderella danced. When the song was over, they danced again. And then they danced again, and yet again. Soon the other maidens at the ball grew jealous. "Why is he dancing all the time with her?" they said. "How rude!" Beautiful the prince could see was Cinderella. They laughed and talked, and they danced some more. In fact, they danced for so long that Cinderella did not see the clock.